Government and citizenship. Today's main idea is that the United States' different levels of government have different roles, but all levels require the participation of citizens. A few things to keep in mind while going through today's lesson is that you should be able to make inferences. In the preamble to the United States Constitution, what does domestic tranquility mean? You should be able to summarize why do you think the people who drafted the Constitution felt it was important to have one. And you should be able to draw conclusions, such as if a new law restricting immigration has just been passed, but some people believe it violates the Constitution, what branch of government can determine if the law is unconstitutional? Government and citizenship. The government of the United States is a complex representative democracy with different levels and branches. It is a type of limited government. Some principles that have shaped its structure and function include freedom, justice, equality, and democracy. The federal government. Since 1787, the federal or national government of the United States has been based on the U.S. Constitution. This founding document spells out the powers and functions of the branches of the federal government. Everyone has to follow the Constitution, even elected officials. The government is limited and cannot take certain rights away from the people. Part of the Constitution is the Bill of Rights. The framers of the Constitution added the first 10 amendments to help protect individual rights. For example, the Bill of Rights protects freedom of speech, press, and religion, as well as the right to a fair trial. The federal government includes an elected president and Congress. Congress, the legislative branch, is responsible for making laws. There are two parts of Congress, the House of Representatives and the Senate. The executive branch, which includes the president, vice president, and the president's cabinet, carries out and enforces laws. The federal government also includes a judicial branch of judges who are appointed, not elected. The judicial branch interprets the laws in court cases. Sometimes judges decide if laws violate the Constitution. In general, the federal government handles issues affecting the whole country, like trade between countries and states and issues relating to national security. The federal government also provides services like national parks, Social Security, and military protection. Under the U.S. Constitution, many powers are left to the 50 state governments. State and local governments. State governments are based on each state's constitution. State constitutions set the rules for how each state's government works. State constitutions must not violate the U.S. Constitution or individual freedoms protected by the Constitution. Since state constitutions are different from each other, each state's government is unique. However, all state governments have three branches, just like the federal government. All states have an elected governor as the head of the executive branch, a legislative branch of elected members, and a judicial branch. In some states, judges are elected, while in others, they are appointed. State governments issue licenses, birth certificates, and death certificates, set, enforce, and interpret state laws, and run elections. Counties and cities also have their own local governments, usually with executive, legislative, and judicial branches. Local elected leaders may include mayors, county commissioners, city councilors, judges, and school board members. Many local governments provide services to the community, such as trash collection, road building, water, and public transportation. Local governments also run public schools. Federal, state, and local governments all provide services paid for with revenue from taxes. Rights and responsibilities of citizens. American citizens have many rights and responsibilities, including the right to vote. Voting for leaders is one way that the value of democracy is shown at all levels of government. Starting at age 18, U.S. citizens are allowed to vote. In order to vote, you have to register. In many states, you register for a particular political party. Political parties are organized groups of people who have similar views about government and issues. People in political parties work together to win elections and shape policies. Political parties also raise money to fund candidates' campaigns and promote a party's agenda or platform. During an election, there are usually primary elections where voters choose which candidate will represent each political party. In states with closed primaries like Pennsylvania and Maryland, only voters registered in a particular party can vote in that party's primary. Other states like Georgia and Montana allow voters to choose which party's primary to vote in on election day. After each political party chooses a candidate in the primary election, these candidates run against each other in the general election. The winner of the general election takes office to help to lead the community. Some of the founders were concerned about factions developing in their new country. One of these individuals was James Madison, who was concerned that the nation might split into opposing groups, each concerned with his own opinions rather than the nation's welfare. He wrote about this challenge in the Federalist Number 10, one of a group of essays known as the Federalist Papers that were designed to get the Constitution ratified. Madison stated that he believes the best protection against these divisions is to establish a representative democracy rather than a direct democracy. In addition to voting, citizens are also encouraged to play an active role in government. For example, Americans can call or write their public officials to ask them to help solve problems in their communities. When many citizens have the same goal about a specific issue, they may form an interest group. Interest groups lobby or advocate at a federal, state, or local level to persuade elected officials. Citizens can also run for state, local, or federal elected office. Other responsibilities, including paying taxes and serving on a jury. By serving on a jury, citizens help the court system resolve conflicts between people and make sure justice is carried out. Jurors decide if people are guilty and sometimes decide what a fair outcome or punishment would be. Without people participating in their government, the democratic process suffers.